الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال الله تبارك وتعالى وإذ قيل لهم اسكنوا هذه القرية وكلوا منها حيث شئتم وقولوا حطة وادخلوا الباب سجدا نغفر لكم خطيئاتكم سنزيد المحسنين فبدل الذين ظلموا منهم قولا غير الذي قيل لهم فأرسلنا عليهم رجزا من السماء بما كانوا يظلمون واسألهم عن القرية التي كانت حاضرة البحر إذ يعدون في السبت إذ تأتيهم حيتانهم يوم سبتهم شرعا ويوم لا يسبتون لا تأتيهم كذلك نبلوهم بما كانوا يفسقون صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد عدد ما ذكره الذاكرون وصل على سيدنا مولانا محمد عدد ما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون. اللهم صل وسلم على عبدك ورسولك اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد أفضل صلواتك. Tonight, inshallah, we'll begin our tafsir with ayah number 161 of Surah Al-A'raf, verse 161, chapter 7. In the previous verse, 160, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made mention of how Banu Israel, the children of Israel or the children of Yaqub alayhi salam, were divided into 12 descendant tribes. Each tribe had a very large family. Each tribe didn't only have few people or few hundred people, but each tribe had thousands of people, thousands of members, men, women, children, young and elderly. And it has always been the case with us, the humans, that sharing is something that we don't like to do very much. We like to name things for our own immediate or closest relatives. So when the children of Israel, they asked Musa alayhi salam for water when they had left Egypt and they had settled in this barren land where there was no water. They came to Musa alayhi salam and they asked for water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa alayhi salam to strike the rock with his staff. أَنِضْرِبْ بِعَصَاكَ الْحَجَرِ. And as he did, per the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the rock split into two pieces, and not just one spring of water came gushing forth from there, but 12 springs of water. Why 12? Because there were 12 tribes. And each tribe wanted to have its own spring of water. One tribe did not want to share the spring of water with another tribe. So, this is how blessed these people were by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even in times like these, when there is no water, when there's nothing around, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not compel them to survive on just one source of water. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them 12 springs of water, 12 sources of water. And where did they come from? From the same rock. And that rock, Allah knows how it was providing all that water, how the 12 springs came gushing forth from that rock. It was the miracle. It was the qudra. It was the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A demonstration of the absolute power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make anything happen. A rock is not usually a source of water. You can break thousands and millions of rocks and you will not find any water from the rock. But if Allah wants to produce water even from the rock, Allah can. And this was the demonstration of that absolute power of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Allah can. And this happened by the command of Allah. If Allah had not commanded Musa alayhi salam to strike that rock, that specific rock, Musa alayhi salam could have struck every rock around in that valley, in that area. No water would have come out. Just like if you go out and you keep breaking the stones, breaking the rocks, you can never get water from them. This was the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in verse 161, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala skips all the other incidents and many things that did happen there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala moves on to the next subject. The next subject was the command of Allah for these people to live in the city, the holy city known as Al-Quds. وَإِذْ قِيلَ لَهُمُ اسْكُنُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ. And when it was said to them, live in this city, settle in this city. What city Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about by this word Al-Qarya is the city of Al-Quds. Today's name is Jerusalem. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the children of Israel to come and live in this city. When this command was given to them in the time of Musa alayhi salam, this command succeeded another command. That command was the command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where He told Musa alayhi salam to take the people and fight with the current inhabitants of the city of Jerusalem, who were fasiqeen, who were the transgressors, rebels, who were non-believers, criminals. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the people of Israel to take back the city, reclaim the city. But in order to reclaim, they had to fight. These people showed cowardice, and they refused to fight in the path of Allah. So eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deprived them of even entering into that city. So all of those people who refused to fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under the command of Musa alayhi salam, they all were deprived and they all died in that same valley where they had been wandering for years, for decades. Finally, when the next generation came up and it was being led by the successor of Musa alayhi salam, who was Yusha alayhi salam. So Yusha alayhi salam led this army of young people and he fought with those people in the city and he took over the city. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already given them instructions as to how you should enter the city that you have conquered, that you have been given victory over. How you should enter the city. What should be your attitude? How should you behave when you are stepping into that city? So this is regarding that. This ayah is explaining those instructions. So the instructions were, وَإِذْ قِيلَ لَهُمُ اسْكُنُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةِ, and remember when it was said to them, live in this city, وَكُلُوا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمْ, and eat from there whatever you want, or eat from wherever you want. The whole city is yours, you can eat from anywhere. وَقُولُوا حِطَّةً, and keep on saying forgiveness. This was the instruction given to them, that when you enter the city, don't enter with any pride, with any arrogance, with any takabbur. Instead, keep on begging for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep on saying maghfirah, hitta, which means forgiveness. Maghfirah. These are the short words. Instead of commanding them to say, oh Allah forgive us, oh Allah forgive us, oh Allah forgive us, this seems a long sentence. So shortening them would result in this. Just say hitta. Just like when we say maghfirah, rahmah, mercy, forgiveness, blessing. So they were instructed to repeat this word, hitta, forgiveness. Allah forgive us. وَادْخُلُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا, and enter the city while your heads in the state of prostration. Your heads down. And this is how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam entered the city of Makkah on the day of Fathu Makkah, on the day of the conquest of Makkah. His head was down as he was entering the city. And normally warriors and conquerors, when they enter the city that they have recently conquered, their chest is high and visible, and their head is up. They're boasting their power. They're showing off their might and their power and their strength. This is the attitude of rebels and transgressors. The attitude of obedient servants of Allah should be like this, that when you are entering that city, your head should be down, and you should be asking for forgiveness, and you should be in obedience to Allah. So Allah said to them, when you enter that city, keep on saying hitta, maghfirah, hitta, and your head should be down. When you're entering the city, make sure your heads are down. نَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ خَطِيئَاتِكُمْ, we shall forgive your mistakes, your shortcomings, your sins. We will forgive them if you obey these commands. سَنَزِيدُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, and we shall increase those who do good. We will give them even more. فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ, but those who wronged among them changed the words قَوْلًا غَيْرَ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ, to a statement other than that which had been said to them. So Allah said to them, keep on saying hitta, and they changed it. Instead of saying hitta, they made a mockery of that word, and they replaced it with another word based on their greed. Their greed was food. So they started saying hinta, which means wheat. We want food, we want grain. So they made fun of this instruction of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine what kind of people these people were, that Allah commanded them to say hitta, forgiveness, and they made a mockery of that word and changed it into hinta. Not mistakenly, intentionally. If someone makes a mistake, Allah forgives them. But these people intentionally changed it. And that's why Allah said, فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. Those who wronged from among them. They wronged, they did injustice. They did wrong to themselves. فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا قَوْلًا. So they changed the word, the statement, غَيْرَ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ, to something that was not said to them, other than what was instructed to them. They were told to say hitta, hitta, and they started saying hinta, hinta, hinta. فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ رِجْزًا. And about the other instruction, what was the other instruction? One was to say hitta, hitta. What was the other instruction? Heads down, right? وَادْخُلُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا. Enter the city, enter the door, the gates of the city, while your head's down. Meaning in position of prostration. They made fun of that as well, and they did the exact opposite of that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made mention of that in Surah Al-Baqarah. They instead enter the city on their hips, their heads up high, their chests blown out, and entered in state of arrogance. They did the opposite of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them. So Allah said, فَأَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ رِجْزًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَظْلِمُونَ. So we sent upon them a punishment from the sky for the wrong that they were doing. Allah punished these people. Allah knows best. We don't have the details how many were punished, but these people were punished. Those who acted this way, they were punished from a form of chastisement from the sky. Meaning maybe some rain came down that punished them, or some heat, or some other kind of adab that came down and that punished them. وَاسْأَلْهُمْ عَنِ الْقَرْيَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ حَاضِرَةَ الْبَحْرِ. And ask them, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ask them about the town that was by the sea. إِذْ يَعْدُونَ فِي السَّبْتِ. When they transgressed in the matter of Sabbath. إِذْ تَأْتِيهِمْ حِيتَانُهُمْ يَوْمَ سَبْتِهِمْ شُرَّعًا. When their fish came to them openly on their Sabbath day. وَيَوْمَ لَا يَسْبِتُونَ لَا تَأْتِيهِمْ. And the day they had no Sabbath, the fish did not come to them. كَذَلِكَ نَبْلُوهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. Thus did we give them trial because they were defiantly disobedient. We tested them in this manner because they were defiantly disobedient. This is a story of a town in the time of Dawood alayhi salam, or sometime after Dawood alayhi salam. And it's somewhere in the Middle East where the modern day Israel is, and other surrounding cities of Palestine. Some of those places are by the sea, and that sea is the Mediterranean Sea. And some parts of the Red Sea are connected to that as well. And there are towns. Even today, the modern day Gaza is actually a town by the sea. It's right on the ocean. So those people who live by the seaside, most of them, their living is by fishing. So these towns are known as the fishing villages, the fishing towns. In Saudi Arabia, Jeddah is obviously one of those places. It's a city on the ocean, on the sea. But near Jeddah, there's another small village, a small town. It's called Thual. And that is known to be the fishing village. All the fishermen live in that town. And if you go into that town, every restaurant will have a variety of fish cooked in different styles and all of that. So those towns that are usually by the sea, their main economy depends on the fishing industry. This is a story mentioned here in verse 163, which was actually briefly mentioned previously in Surah Al-Baqarah. Now we are on the 9th juz, but in the first juz, the same story was mentioned, but very briefly, in just one verse. In that verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us, وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ الَّذِينَ اعْتَدَوْا مِنْكُمْ فِي السَّبْتِ. Indeed, you know those who transgressed in the matter of Sabt. فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. So we commanded them to become apes, disgraced. So this small town was a town of Jews. All the people living here in this town were Jews. And this is sometime after Dawood alayhi salam. So this is long before Isa alayhi salam. Maybe between the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam and Dawood alayhi salam, or during their time. So this town of Jews was a very religious town. And one of the very important instructions for Jews is that they must respect Sabbath. What is Sabbath? Sabbath is their holiest day, Saturday. In Arabic, the word for that is Sabt. Saturday is their holiest day.